Okay, classroom resources. This has been a very big topic. I've heard it at many of the budget meetings that I've attended myself. Class size, class size, class size. How are our resources allocated? Trinity, Davis, Ward, Barnard, all of them, the equities, the inequities. Nobody has a picture of what that is. And even us as a committee looking at this, we don't have a perspective of what this is yet. What we propose is that we include in the budget a metric, which is a form of analyzing the information, setting a goal for what our classroom size is, how many pupils do we want in a classroom, how many kids are in a grade level, how many classes at that level are there, and also use it for non-pedagogic staff as well, so we can have a full picture of each classroom, each building facility, to understand how it's staffed, and to make sure, and to even it would actually maybe appease people to see, hey, wait a second, our classroom size is in par or in sync. And the other is that, hey, has the board set a goal for what the classroom size, what we would like it to be? And again, 5-year plan or 2-year plan, where can we get it to be? What happened to my thing? This is an example from the Mamaroneck school system of what they include. This is just one particular school. It goes K through 5. On the left side, it shows what their maximum, that's their class objective, and then actual budget, what are they trying to get to? This is some more information to the same regard. This presentation cuts off a little. It continues down further. It goes through library, social worker, teaching assistant, pre-K principal, nurse, clerical, custodial. Okay, grant-funded programs. The state and federal aid that supports our school programs is interdispersed throughout the budget document, and some of them are funded, but there's inadequate clarity as to what the net cost to the school system is from these programs. We know that the grants run out, but again, we want to have a look forward to see what's going to be that ultimate cost to us. We know, hey, we're getting this great program, Mandarin, great example. I'm not making any suggestion that leave us or anything, but what's going to be that ultimate cost? And it's been intimated, I'm not going to say by who, that we leave French and keep Mandarin. All right, other miscellaneous items to improve clarity. We recommend there is a combined line item that combines, it's called regular overtime. That's sort of like military intelligence or sort of thing. And it's interesting because it's, code 1621.161 and 2. There's a typo. It should be 161 and 2. It's written as 162 and 162. And we want that split. We want to have clarity and perspective on what overtime is being incurred, and certainly the phraseology, regular overtime, gets to us the purpose of how are we organizing our staff, how are we structuring our hours, are we staggering hours to accommodate staff so that we don't have any overtime. And I think, Sue, you're going to get into that, so I won't talk on it. 162.400, maintenance of plant, contractual services. We want to have these services, Adam mentioned this, separated between regular recurring type items and project items, non-recurring items. Recurring items are, putting chemicals in the pool, supplies that we need to buy on a regular basis to maintain the physical plant. Non-recurring items are the things that, there's a major roof repair that's got to get done. That's a repair, not a capital project in nature for that item. Separate what those one-time type of things are so we don't mistakenly or unwittingly budget for those in the following years, and because you have no way of knowing if it's just buried in. And my biggest concern is that we give too much leeway in a budget item that just creates the easy type of atmosphere to say, hey, I got the budget, where's my accountability? We want to also see a couple of line items that are pervasive throughout the budget: supplies and BOCES. They're scattered, littered throughout the budget. That's not, a bad thing. It's, to associate it to the department or the function that it's providing. But to bring clarity to it and to look towards where we can get the advantage of maximum purchasing value, we want to see those supply items. We want to see BOCES. We do a lot of buying through BOCES. We've had, we've had some good discussions about BOCES, and it's not something that we necessarily fully understand. We know that, it's part of a purchasing group, but at the same time, we contribute to part of its overhead and capital requirements. So, and I'm not talking about pedagogic type items. I'm talking about simply, maintaining the house and putting paper on the desk type of things. So I'm not sure, and we don't have clarity, how that works, and we'd like to get some clarity on it. And lastly, administration salaries, which is in the general support central administration section of the budget. Last year there was an announcement made that various positions would be held to a salary freeze, and in keeping with the period of austerity. And although we understand that there was a way that that was accomplished during the year, it's very ambiguous to us to see clearly in the budget presentation how that necessarily was accomplished. So we'd like those items to be clarified so that the community does see and can realize that what was promised was achieved. All right, and with that, I'm going to introduce Suyen Taylor.
An amazing time doing this, and we'd like to thank Chris Ann and the Board of Ed for really putting it together. It's a valuable tool, and we hope that what we've presented this evening will in fact impact perhaps hopefully this year's budget, hopefully next year's budget going forward. One of the mandates that the committee was charged with was how will this budget committee look for next year and moving forward. We recommend that we sustain the committee for year-round work. In our discussions, Here we are. In our discussions, several items have come up that we think bears deeper consideration, and it's something that the committee could look into going forward. We recommend that there be 6 resident members representing all of the New Rochelle neighborhoods. Basically, we're recommending that the Board of Ed put out to the community to ask them if there's any expressions of interest from community members who'd like to be a part of the board, and depending on who applies for the position, we're hoping that we could have 1 member from each elementary feeding into the 2 middle schools. The advice and know-how from David, Jeffrey, and Carol was invaluable, so of course we'd like the continued participation from the Board of Ed and the administration. And we would really like to, we didn't, in the 4 weeks that we didn't have enough time to engage the community. What we are recommending is that the committee hold town hall meeting style conversations with the community through the PTA and the PTA Council. In our discussions over the past 4 weeks, there are several items that have come up that we have not had the time to really review in depth. These are items that could be taken up by next year's committee, especially working on a year-round basis. We recommend looking into the possibility of using a time management system. We recommend studying the use of the system to track employee hours worked. This will aid in the analysis of staff efficiency, which could result in lower overtime costs and reduced use of hourly workers. We recommend the policy for rebidding large vendor contracts. In our discussions, it came up that there are several long-standing contracts within the community that have not come up for rebid in several years. So we recommend that next year's committee take a look into that. Review the staffing needs across the system, perhaps take a look into an inventory management system, which would require performing an outside audit of our supplies inventory and the effectiveness of our purchasing department. Perhaps installing a system of centralized purchasing and centralized storage could be considered as well. We recommend looking at the cost of the health care. The health care is budgeted to cost the school more than $22 million in the upcoming year. A 5% reduction in costs would free up significant resources to provide additional services to our students, something that next year's committee could look into. And last but not least, shared services. The city has already created a budgetary advisory committee, and with this Citizens Budget Committee working in tandem with them, perhaps we could explore ways in which working together could reduce the budget for next year as well. In closing, we would like to thank the Board of Ed, Ms. Patrone, for giving us the opportunity to serve the community in this fashion. Not only has it been a rather immense learning opportunity, but we hope that what we have provided will be of use to the Board of Ed and to the administration. Thank you.
Thank you, and on behalf of the board, I formally accept your committee report, and we will be further discussing the committee report. And once again, thank you for your commitment, your dedication, and your service on this committee. And I know it was a short time, and all of you stood up to the challenge, and I want to thank you again for doing it on our behalf. Thank you.